Welcome to the Love and Sex Today show with Dr. Doug Weiss. Doug has been healing hearts and relationships for decades. He's helped thousands of people release the shame and the guilt, restoring hope, helping people get free from addictions to enjoy a better sex and love life. Here he is, your host, Dr. Doug Weiss.
Welcome to Love and Sex Today. I am Dr. Doug Weiss, and I am here for our 29th conversation. Today's topic is the power of praising your spouse. If you have a spouse, you are fortunate indeed. And if you're in a long-term relationship, you're fortunate indeed. The benefits and camaraderie and friendship that you're establishing over the years and years and sometimes multiple decades really is life-changing for both of you. Today, I am going to teach you how to give the vitamin that's so important to your relationship to stay positive and powerful, and that is the power of praising your spouse. Now, before we do that, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com. I want you to subscribe. Review us on iTunes. That's how many people find out how wonderful a show is, and you can help them do that quickly by going to iTunes and writing a review. Also, go to the webpage, loveandsextoday.com, and get your free chapter of one of my books that's posted there every single day, just for you to be able to have a great love and sex today life. Now, the power of praising your spouse. This is really, really critical, because what happens is sometimes we duplicate the very thing that we grew up with. You know, when you look at your family of origin, I don't know what was the primary voice in your family of origin. For some of my clients, I've been counseling people at Heart to Heart Counseling Center in Colorado Springs for many, many years. And I've heard some horrific stories and some very positive stories. One of the voices that you grew up with might have been criticism. You can't, you're stupid, the kind of limiting and critical voices that you get as a child or teenager from your family of origin. You might have grown up in a worse environment, which was silence. You didn't hear anything good or bad about you. It was as if you weren't even there. That's a horrible way to grow up. And you might have grew up in a family that was really good at giving praise. And you were praised. You're amazing. You're smart. You're capable. I'm on your side. You really felt supported and encouraged. Well, oftentimes when we get married, we are really, really intentional about making sure that we are a different or better parent than our parents. If your dad never said, I love you, you're going to say, I love you to your kids. If your mom made you do all the housework, you might not let your kids do very much at all. We're going to be different. But one of the things that's interesting to me is how intentional we are to be different in our parenting. But oftentimes we're not as intentional of, I want to be a different kind of spouse. I want to be the kind of spouse that's really encouraging and powerful. So I don't know if you've ever taken the time to think about this. Now, I've been married for almost 31 years. In the next couple of weeks, it'll be 31 years. Lisa and I are celebrating our marriage together. But at this point, Lisa's been married to me longer than she stayed at home. And she stayed at home till she was 27, which is a really long time. And so at this point, Lisa has heard my voice more than any other voice in her life. Now, that's a really weighty thought if you just take a minute and think about that. As a spouse, your voice is the verbal environment of their soul for decades. They're going to marinate in your voice of whether it's criticism, your voice of maybe it's silence, or your voice of praise and validating and support. See, your voice is the sauce in which your spouse's soul marinates. So what kind of sauce are you intentionally giving to your spouse? Or do you just, whatever comes out of your mouth is just what is? You might have never thought about how important your voice is to your spouse, that you're going to be the primary voice on planet Earth that they get to hear day in, day out for decades. I'm intentional about the voice that I give to Lisa. I'm a very encouraging man. I decided that a long time ago, that my role was not to be her critic, that my role was to be her cheerleader. And I want to cheer her on in the various phases of life, before we had children, during children, and now that children are gone. I want to be her cheerleader. That's my role. So as you look at your words, and you put them on a scale, which scale would weigh the most? The words you don't speak, the words of criticism, or the words of praise? Well, I hope, if it's not what you want, that today's podcast will encourage you to take it to the other side, that you will become intentionally positive and praising of your spouse. Now, there's different kinds of praise. Of course, you can praise them physically, that they're handsome, they're beautiful, their physical attributes, and that's an okay thing to do. If that's all you've got, though, that's going to limit how much they think that you see them. You want to praise their soul for how patient they are, for how kind they are, for how genuine, for how generous, for how caring they are towards maybe their family or their children, how hardworking they are. I mean, if you've raised kids, both of you have worked hard, how creative they are. And see, you have a lot of things you appreciate about your spouse, but sadly, they stay inside your brain. You want to let these positive, powerful thoughts out of your brain, through your lips, and into the ears of your beloved. And there they can grow, and there they can be encouragement and oil and strength to their soul. And it makes them more buoyant. I mean, think about the last time you were sincerely praised by your spouse. And they just said to you, honey, you're amazing. You're awesome. I love you with all my heart. And you're such a blank, 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 blank kind of person. I just want to be with you my entire life. I mean, how would you feel if that was going into your ears, into your heart? It makes you feel great. I love when Lisa just randomly praises me. Now, we have a discipline of praise, which I'm going to get into right here and right now. See, Lisa and I decided a long time ago that we're going to be each other's cheerleader. And we intentionally give each other 2 praises every single day. We do 2 feelings a day. We do 2 praises a day. And then we connect spiritually every single day. It's the foundation of our success in marriage, is that we have a discipline in marriage. And one of those disciplines is praising. So I'm going to share with you an idea that you might want to pass on, and you might want to enjoy, and you might want to practice. And that is, every single day, don't just think of 2 positive things about your spouse. Say them. Say them out loud. Let them know, I really love, appreciate, or value, ... about you. Now, what's really important about praise, and you or your spouse may not be good at it, is receiving praise. To receive a praise, you have to say thank you. You have to acknowledge that it's been spoken to your heart. And when you say thank you, it's like the deposit actually goes in. So if you have one of those spouses who doesn't say thank you when you give them a praise, and they continually think that they're not appreciating it, it's because they're not letting it in. So say, honey, say thank you so that you know it went in. So I give Lisa praise. Lisa, I really appreciate this about you. Lisa, I really love this about you. She says thank you. And she gives me 2 praises every single day. Even if we had a rough day, we had a rough day in some kind of circumstances in our lives, whether it's, extended family or business or something, we still come together every day and praise each other. Now, how do you think that's going to affect your relationship? I mean, I know no matter what's been said all day, Lisa's going to say 2 positive things about me. I'm going to say 2 positive things about her. And you know what? Our kids grew up watching us do this. And they think that you're supposed to be positive towards your spouse. And it has really, really, really been helpful. So I want to encourage you, as you look at your marriage, as you look at your relationship, look at your intentionality. Now, it may not be that you find sitting down and looking into your spouse's eyes and giving 2 praises is necessarily what you want to do. Now, will it work? Absolutely. Has it worked for, hundreds of thousands of people? Absolutely. Will it work for you? Absolutely. But some people are like, I just want to do my own thing. Okay, do your own thing, and just make sure that you can check off that box that today I saw my spouse in a positive light. I told them what I saw. Today when you were just cleaning out the pantry, I realized how focused you are on details. And I really appreciate that about you, because maybe that's not your strength. But when your spouse realizes that somewhere today you saw them, and you kind of took a photo shot and you brought that photo back to them and said, here you are. You're amazing. You were kind. You were so thoughtful to think about that. It didn't even register to me. I love that you remember little things. Great. Let your spouse feel very good about being in relationship with you. The power of praising your spouse, I can't tell you. Lisa's my best friend. She's my lover. She's my wife. And we encourage each other. I think awesome thoughts about her. And I think she thinks awesome thoughts about me. At least she tells me at least 2. But if you're not going to sit down and do it, just keep yourself accountable in some way on your cell phone or something, and see how well you're doing in this. And if you're one of those people who you've been silent or critical in your marriage, this will help you to start finding the positive in your spouse. And what I find is just giving a couple the assignment, hey, I want you to find 2 good things about your spouse every single day and tell them. It changes the way they look at their spouse instead of looking about what they haven't done and what they aren't in their personality, character, or habits. They begin to look at what they are in their personality and their habits. And they begin to see how they benefit from being in a relationship with this amazing person. Most of our spouses are 95% amazing and 5% that may not be the most wonderful part for you, but they're awesome people. So you need to focus on what is amazing and what is awesome. And if you do, you will have the power of praise working on your side to strengthen your relationship, to make you feel good about each other. And it might actually boomerang and come back into your own life. And you might actually be seen, and you might actually be appreciated. And they might actually show up in real words. Now, I want you to go to loveandsextoday.com, subscribe there, review us on iTunes, and one of you will get a private conversation with me, which has been really fun. I love getting to know our audience and being able to just have a chat with you and see if we can accelerate something in your life. Also, get a free chapter of one of my books on the webpage. And remember always, have great love and have great sex today.
That's it for our episode of Love and Sex Today with Dr. Doug Weiss. Head on over to loveandsextoday.com and be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes. When you do, and you post a review on iTunes, some lucky listener is going to win every single month a private confidential coaching call with Dr. Doug Weiss. Also, feel free to ask any question you like. You can push a button, speak your question, and Dr. Doug will answer your question in a future episode. So be sure to subscribe to the show. Doug's got some great gifts for you, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.